Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie and my channel is My Scattered Brain. My Scattered Brain is a channel about incorporating art as a balance to your life and to your mental health. This channel also has some daily life activities, junk journaling, crafting, upcycling, all different things meant to keep your mind engaged, your emotions even. And I'm kind of, a lot of you have probably come to my channel through junk journaling. And I'm just on a little bit of a mental break right now. Have some, life events that just kind of have me scatterbrained. So this is a paper mache pumpkin that I made last year. And the way I made it was I took a bundt pan, big bundt pan, draped paper mache over it, let it dry, did it again, fused the two together, and then made this pumpkin. He's a little square, but there are those square looking pumpkins out there. So I have this pan here. I've been trying to sell a couple of really nice cake pans online and I have no takers. So I thought, well, what if I paper mache'd each one of these, and that would actually make 6 complete mini pumpkins. So that's what I'm going to try today. Feel free to join me. If this is not your thing, I totally get that as well. And yeah, let's see what happens. Okay. So I have here some paste that I made. This is cornstarch and water. Heated up, combined, heated up, stirred. It's still hot because I just made it. But that's what I'm going to use as my decoupage glue. Hold on. Okay. And we'll see how it goes. It's I have just little scraps of paper. This is from a calendar or planner that I'm going to use. So I'm submerging it in the glue, and then I'm going to make sure that I have coverage all the way from one side of the mini bundt to the other. Now, full disclosure, I have tried to make cupcakes with this mini bundt, and I did not like the results. So, which is why I was like, well, somebody else might like it. I'll try and sell them online. And I don't know. I guess they're probably cheap enough in the store that nobody wanted them online. I think also a pan like this is also good for like sorting beads, or like any kind of cupcake pan would be good. That would be good for. So I'm sure I'll find some uses for it. So I'm just going around. I'm soaking each strip and trying to get good, decent coverage. I don't, you could do lots and lots of layers. I don't know how many layers of this I'm going to do for it to be sturdy and do what I want. I'm thinking it might need more than one. But again, it might not, because, I mean, these don't have to be... What I'm thinking about doing with these is just making pumpkins for decor. Or making a string of pumpkins. Like maybe attaching them to a string for a garland. So it's not anything major structural that it has to be, other than for it to hold together and look like a pumpkin when I'm done. See, now here I maybe would have used thinner strips, but these are already pre-cut, so I'm going to use them. And I'm just going to do the whole pan, and I'm not even going to worry about if paper from one pumpkin is connected to paper from another, because I'm going to release the paper mache and then like cut them and trim them. So yeah, I'll probably speed up through this process for you guys. Now typically I would have tried to layer everything with saran wrap, but I don't have saran wrap, so I'm just trying it without, hoping that the non-stick aspect will help me out. Oh, okay. Everything's kind of breaking because it's getting too wet. Okay, so now I'm just going around looking for places that might just need a little patch or some coverage. Or an extra layer, that kind of thing. And then I'm just really kind of pressing down to make sure that, you know, because the bundt cake flares out. I don't want it to be more flared out than the mold. All right. So now, very high humidity these days, so that's going to affect how fast something dries. But yeah, now it's just waiting for it to dry. So I decided to do this just right before work so that it could dry all day. I'm going to put something over this, wash my hands, clean up the counter, and I'll see you later. Okay, the light's a little funny in here, so maybe I'll do some tilting. Can you see that? Okay, you know what? Hold on. Okay, so you see this is still very wet. This one's very dry. I'm going to see if I can peel that up a little. I already know I probably should have had saran wrap. Just because then you can lift from the sides. Hold on. Okay, so that's the bottom half of the pumpkin. It's all dry. I'm going to trim around this edge, and then I'll pull another one up and I'll show you how that's going to look. Okay, so see, I trimmed it. Now I'll pull this one up. Okay. This is still a little damp over here. I'm going to pull it up though. I'll show you why. Okay, now I can do this. Glue all this. I might even tape it with masking tape. However, I just got home, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat first, and then I'll show you how I put this together for the next drying, which will be, I'm going to, glue these two pieces together, and then it'll need to dry. Okay, so I have these pre-cut strips that I did, and I made them thinner because I think it's just going to be better for going around the curve. If it's too wide, then you'll end up with like crinkles. So, and I've never done this, so we'll see how it works. I do have my paste that I'm going to use. Let's see how it goes. So here I put these stems in too. So they're going to need a little bit of paper around them just to make sure that they're not going anywhere. So maybe I'll start with that. I'm going to use this really thin stuff, thin strips. And I think if I just hit it from all sides, it's going to be good enough because the paste is going to hold on to it. I'm going to tell you something else that I was thinking about with these. You know, these came out very much looking like cupcake liners. I wonder if you could just paper mache. Well, the cupcake liners have too many crinkles in them, I think. Come on out. I was thinking maybe you could like just use cupcake liners and paper mache over them. I kind of like this. It's kind of like you just set it up and leave it and go about your day, and then you come back and do the next step. Okay, so there's that. Even though this is, you know what I'll do? I'll do a dry one. I'll do one that I haven't worked on the stem so that I can manipulate it without worrying about undoing my work. Now, there's a little bit of a flare, but I think when it's painted, a lot of that's going to be camouflage, if you will. Now, what I'm also thinking is I could probably cut these in half. Let's see how one of them works. I'm trying not to get totally gooped up right off the bat, but you'll see that's a losing battle. The other losing battle is probably lining up some ridges. But I guess depending on your personality and your OCD, you might make that a mission. I don't know if my scattered brain can do that. I doubt it. So now I'm just kind of keeping the seam, kind of not. I think that this might even take 2 more times. I think like you'll have an anchoring one and then a polishing layer where you'll polish it off. And you know, it's just drying time, which is great. Anybody who knows me now, though, knows that I'm not good at waiting for things to dry. So for me, this is very much a something that you just do real quick and then leave the house. So you're not waiting. Like leave the house and do other things. You know, if I wanted to go right on to the next step, I'd be chomping at the bit. So you see how that's kind of anchoring it. It's making it so you can handle it. I think if you get any more intricate than that, you might start having problems with it holding together, maybe. You just kind of have to feel it out and see what you have the patience for. That's a piece of grapevine in there. And then certainly if you had colored paper, like, you know, if you had orange or yellow paper, that could definitely end up being like incorporated into your whole design, and might even save you some paint in the long run. Now what I'm tempted to do is do a band all the way around, and I'm not sure if that would work, just to decrease this this pointy look. Let's see if I can do that. Like to smooth it out. Let's see. We'll have to see if it's a success. Oh. You know what? One thing is, you could probably do this with masking tape too. Mask it all, tape all together, which I don't have. And then paper mache over it. Yeah, that's an idea. What do you think? What do you think? Is that going to be a pumpkin?
Yeah.
It's a little bit funky. I was just saying that I think that you could probably masking tape the halves together and then paper over them, and that would at least hold them all.
Yeah.
But I don't have masking tape, so I'm using my strips as tape. And for those who don't know, that's my hubby. He's my biggest cheerleader. And sometimes technical advisor. So say I'm doing like 4 holding straps, paper mache, right? Just to get it manageable. And then start filling in. And then I do have to go back and get some paper around the stems. Now the other thing is, these are surprisingly sturdy once they're dry. Like, they're not just caving, they're going to be something that you can actually like throw around. That's how strong they're going to be. Not that you'd want to throw them around, but you know, they're not going to be delicate. Let's put it that way. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just wet my hands and do this. All right, I'm going to finish these up, and the next step might be painting. It might be more gluing. See that. So I don't know if you can see, like over here, I'm using that as a bridge to get rid of that pointy section. And I'm also using some drier pieces just to apply on there, and then I'll go over them like that, just to make sure they stick down. I don't think it's an exact science. Now, if you have glasses that slip down, if you have hair that falls down in your face, you might want to make sure all of that's fixed up before you start, because if you're pushing hair out of your face, you're getting glue in them. So that's them so far. They could actually be apples. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going. I think I'm going to try trimming this one down a little bit. You know, it's paper and paste. It's not a whole bunch of supplies that you got that, you know, all of a sudden you've wasted money on. So that's a good thing. I think I'm going to trim this one too. See how much of this flare I can get rid of. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can do like little balloons. What I liked though was the ridges that are like in that pan. That's why I originally did the bunt pan, because the ridges made me think of a pumpkin. So now what I can do is I can go down here, across the bottom, up the other side. I could probably do that again. Gotta get around that grapevine. Looking for like kind of a wider piece. That's not really working. You know what? It's trial and error. When I start making 100 of these, then I'll have it down pat. And honestly, I don't think trimming that thing made a bit of difference. This one's not going as great. Got more holes and wrinkles. because I tried to do a shortcut instead of just doing it. And depending on the paper used, like this might want to stop sticking because it's too wet. So I don't know. I think old timers would always use newspaper. And I think masking tape probably makes it less of a soggy thing in the long run. I'm sure anybody who paper maches all the time is going to be able to say exactly what I'm doing wrong. Except that there is no wrong. There's no wrong. My stuff is starting to slide off the table. I think I'm going to have to let this one dry and then I'll figure it out.